What is the best lie you have ever told your child? 1. Best lie I've ever told kids? Easy, and I still use it for noisy ones. Some kids in our old apartment complex were yelling and screaming, playing chase, whatever. I came downstairs and said, "So, you kids don't really care about using up your screams, do you?" "What?" they asked, curious. So I sat down and told them, well, in your lifetime, you only get a few hundred screams. If you use them all up as a child, you'll never ever be able to scream again, not even if a monster was chasing you. To their incredulous comments, I said I learned the hard way. Listen, and opened my mouth, and pantomimed a loud scream. Really threw my heart into it. Not a single sound came out. Their eyes went huge and they all looked rather scared. "It's okay. You can scream when you need to, but don't use them all up," I cautioned. Blissful peace. 2. When my daughter was a toddler, she didn't like the feeling of being harnessed in her car seat. She asked why she had to wear it, and I told her that's the rules. Everyone has to buckle up for safety. Besides, there's a sensor in the car where the car won't go if a child is in it and the car seat isn't buckled up. She asked, "Really?" And I said very seriously, "Yes." The next time she got in the car, we were going somewhere fun. I put her in her car seat and pretended to forget to buckle her up. I could see her grinning through my reverse mirror. She was positive she was going to escape the clutches of the dreaded harness. I started the car and revved the engine. I muttered, "Why won't the car go? I guess I better call a tow truck." I turned around to my daughter and said sadly, "I guess we have to cancel today. There's something wrong with the car. I'm sorry." The disappointment in her face was over the top. Suddenly, she said, "Mommy, I know what's wrong. You forgot to buckle me up for safety." I slapped my forehead, hopped out, went around to the back and buckled her up. I hopped back into the driver's seat, and amazingly, the car started up, went into drive, and on our way we went. Along the way, I heard several, "Mommy, are you so proud of me?" To which I responded, "I am so proud, I could just fall over," which was followed with a gale of giggles. I never had a car seat issue again. 3. When my daughter was small, we were going through a rough patch financially, and couldn't afford to get her a bunch of expensive things for Christmas. So we told her that we could only afford less expensive presents, but that she could ask Santa for just one big present each year. That way she could decide which big ticket item she wanted most and otherwise be satisfied with lesser offerings. Fast forward a few years when, inevitably, she found out that Santa was not real. She was crushed, absolutely devastated, crying inconsolably. When we could get a coherent answer out of her, she told us, "I thought I was saving you money by asking Santa for the big presents, and you were paying for them the whole time." Poor kid's heart was in the right place, at least. 4. My first child believes that our having a second child was her idea. Soon after I found out that I was pregnant with our second, I bought a bunch of books for our 3-year-old about what it means to be a big sister. We read the books for a few days, and then she told me that she had decided that she wanted to have a baby sister. I told her that if we were going to have another baby, we wouldn't be able to decide if we wanted a girl or a boy. I also explained that it would sometimes mean that I would have to take care of the baby, and might not always be able to play with her. We talked about it for a while, about her having a sibling to play with, to teach things to, but that it would also be a lot of work for all of us. "Babies cry a lot," I said. She decided that all of that was okay, and she really wanted a baby sister or a baby brother. I told her I would see what I could do. A few days later I told her I was pregnant. She was thrilled, and has always felt that the baby was her baby. She continues to take wonderful care of him. She is now 6, he is 3. Here she is, meeting her baby for the first time when he was just a few hours old. 5. When my 3 boys were little, I kept a bowl of Hershey Kisses on the top of the fridge. When I could catch one alone reading, running by, or sitting, I'd unwrap one, pop it into his mouth and whisper, "You're my favorite, but don't tell your brothers." Years later, I'm talking almost grown kids here, they sat at the breakfast bar fighting about who was the favorite. Then my middle one came out with it. "Yeah, well, Mom used to sneak me candy and tell me I was her favorite and not to tell you." The look on all 3 of their faces was priceless. I turned around, laughed, and told them they are all my favorite in their own way. That their differences are beautiful and I wouldn't change a thing. This picture was about 3 years before they figured it out. After she pleaded with me in a particularly directed voice, "Mama, can I please have a baby brother?" I told the lie, "Sweetie, in order to have a baby brother, Mom needs a husband." "Does Mom have a husband?" "No," she answered, sadly. "So, you can't have a baby brother right now." She didn't ask again for about 3 days. I felt intelligent, smug and in control. Peace at last. Then it came, "Mama, can we please get us a husband?" 7. One day, definitely not Halloween day, my wife, 2 boys, and I were at a party city. The boys were about 5 and 8 at the time. The younger one walked up to a basket of candy and asked if he could have some. I answered no. He walked up to the next basket of candy and again asked if he could have some. I again answered no. This happened at least 3 more times in quick succession and we finally made it to the register. He asked again. Exasperated, I said, "Son, if you ask for one more piece of candy, I'm going to go back in time and take away the candy you had yesterday." This seemed to satisfy him and he stopped asking. Well, the 8-year-old knew this wasn't possible and smugly looked my way and declared, "Okay, do it to me." Shit, I hadn't thought this far through. I was just making an empty threat and now I'm being called out on it. We locked eyes. Somehow I blurted out, "Fine. Do you remember that Snickers bar you had yesterday?" "What?" I didn't have a Snickers bar yesterday. "Exactly." And I patted him on the back as we walked out of the store, his face twisted in furious thought. 8. I convinced my son that I have a time portal. I can speed up or slow down time. It started one day when my son was really droopy in the morning and didn't want to go to school because he thought it would take too long and be boring. I knew they were having a surprise pizza party for the kids because they had worked so hard the weeks before. So I told him I would activate my time portal and make the day shorter for him. After school he was amazed. The day was shorter. All they did was read and have a pizza party and watch a movie, and then it was time to go home. Can I use it every day? I explained that with great power comes great responsibility. There is a balance to things, so unfortunately when I use my time portal to make a day shorter, it springs back and I have to make a different day longer so time doesn't change. Sure enough, the next day felt long. Legend cemented. Every